Chapter 7. They, countless infants damned in the heavy derivative trajectories of the Armageddon, dragged the devil down through the catacombs and citadels of their own bodies and the bodies of their kind. The limp arms and abooted torsos make archways and active pits for the podiums to remain buried, and in penance, mossy mushin for the feet. Some survived, and in the mountain, in its size and vertical stretch of the abyss, so many survived. They hand him down, exchanging and trading trusts, some of them awake and vengeful, raging, and some even sleeping in mind. At work, gambling the constraints for the paying of limbs to homage, to control, escorted in order, in line, into each other's linking, constant grasps. Now, as the sun spears the great ocean, slices and rends the crossings over its coaling currents, circling and touching all the shores, reaching against and over the tides of atmospheric waves, walking and wandering the fringe of licking moisture, always carving a new outflow, outburst, exodus, brood and flock and swarm, it rocks and swarms and rolls out to the great bowling and the great depth. Here, through the devil's mind's eye, the sun looks small in its sphere, in its orbital, suspended, levitating, and reminds him that the joy is in the great, salted blue waters, amassing under and pressed flat and tight against the great, open blue sky to try and swallow, to swell, whir, and consume the lancing, crucifixial sun, righteous, holy, searing in cuts of light, and that it never does. They pull him down through the pile of sin and defilement and abomination that he made for himself, a standing throne, once for a moment, created for that which would sit, but not created by it. At the top, at the very fringe and edge and surface, the upturn of the crisp soil, the minds that were severed in decapitation, luckiest or last, lay in droves and groves on the mountain of bodies, stricken and stunned with their final and yet very close as possible, as close as he could make them, first living, unassumed expression, their first emotion, locked into time and eternity and infinity where they'd fallen, bubbled and rolled into place, into the grade and shelter of the great reliquary, harboring, some staring down into the pile, some into the varying bends and angles of the empty, decrepit distance of their surroundings, some at the many viewpoints, marching across the curl of the sky where we made this world from the start, to spin and to do our work for us, beneath us. The many dead and released of spirit, glinted and captured of flesh at the preempt of innocence. Aghast at the open solidarity of the span, the direction, the heavy continuing reality and the unbearable whole, the random launches of space and missions of collidance at youngest awareness. They pull him down, in sweat and struggles, reminding him of sand and hot smells, exhaust and power, weakened against his will, without his resistance, without any but transitional restraints, exchanging him, hand by hand, down, down, alive as so many of them are, torturing, enraptured, writhing in discomfort and labor as they give him rest, invulnerability, contemplation, preservation, a demented canon in antrospect, predicted against their will themselves, dragging him in the great travel, the long endurance, the solitary, constricting bindings of the call and the detainment, the bidding, the indictment, the enshrined and unrewarded wait for the consecrated, faithful and believing return and approach, the beckoning and reckoning of the Lord of our God, devoted, down, 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 between soft, smooth, wet sheets of smoldering skin and twiddling fingers grown to sizzling coals, down to their furnaces and to the hottest, lowest fire that they can temper, as far from that bright, righteous, burning surface as they can.